Just a disclaimer, I have a cold, so if I don't sound as loud in this video, maybe that's why. With the Fortnite Remix event being next week as of today, I wanted to touch on what I might think be in Chapter 6 Season 1 of Fortnite. And also, just for some context, Chapter 6 Season 1 is going to be a traditional Japanese theme, so everything I say in this video will be Japanese related. Now, let's start off with my number one being colorful graphics. Now, throughout Chapter 5, everything just looks so bland, it looks so gray, and it looked all so boring. And which was one of the main reasons why the chapter failed miserably. Everything, it just didn't look good. Like all the trees, the landscapes, and the sky, it looked nothing as it did back in chapter 1 or in chapter 2. Now, if we go back to the last chapter, being chapter 4, everything looked so much better. Everything was vibrant, it was colorful, it had a unique cartoony art style, just like chapter 1 did, except with way enhanced, new gen graphics. Which is why I think Epic should incorporate colorful graphics back into chapter 6, because they saw how hard if chapter 5 flopped and how much people wanted the old graphics to come back. So that's why I think Epic should bring back their colorful graphics, and I think that they are, because there were also some leaked skies for the Chapter 6 sky. Now, for my number two, I would love for Epic to had Japanese traditional weapons like katanas, naginatas, tantos, yumis, and ninja shurikens. See, because this season is going to be a Japanese theme, I feel like all these weapons would be, you know, all so fitting. Now, just for some context, I feel like everybody knows what a katana is, but naginatas and tantos, a naginata is like a long sword type spear, and a tanto is like a katana dagger, and a yumi is a large longbow that the Japanese used back in the day. And so I feel like adding these weapons would shake up the playstyle by a lot, and it would just add some more fun to the season. Next thing I would love for them to add in Chapter 6 is a more focus on the storyline. Back in Chapter 5, like, everything was kind of related in a way, and it was all sort of circulating around Pandora's box, which it kind of felt like an entirely new story and not a continuation of the old one. See, because personally, I loved the storyline from chapters 1 to chapter 4, because honestly, that was the peak of it. And then when chapter 5 came in, it's like they completely scrapped the whole thing. They still have Jonesy, but they added a bunch of new things. Now, if they do find some way to tie all those chapter 5 details into chapter 6 with the old storyline, I'll take that because I love that. But the game was at its peak, at its highest, when they had their focus on the story, and they would base their seasons around the story. They wouldn't throw in the things that would make them the most money. And so that's why I feel like this could be a very, very strong addition to the season. Now, on the topic of making money, Epic Games did a lot, and I mean a lot, of collaborations in Chapter 5. We got Avatar, Pirates of the Caribbean, we got an entire Marvel season again, and we got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was mad. Like, personally, they could have done so much better with them, like with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one. They were kind of related, but like not so much because the season for Chapter 5 Season 1 was underground, and it makes sense how the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are kind of underground, but it just wasn't fitting enough. And then they also had a Metal Gear Solid collab in the middle of there too, which didn't make any sense. Which is why I think for Chapter 6, the mid-season collaboration could be a Demon Slayer collaboration. Now, if you haven't seen the show Demon Slayer, basically this guy, Tanjiro, his family dies, and so he goes on to become a demon hunter, and he kills demons. And so I feel like this would be a great addition, mainly because of the fact that Demon Slayer incorporates lots and lots of Japanese mythology, such as demons and an actual organization that focus on killing demons using traditional Japanese weapons like katanas and naginatas and other Japanese weapons. And so I feel like this would be a very strong addition. It would get lots of people who watch the anime into actually playing the game, and it would be a collaboration that actually makes sense. So, yeah, on to our next topic, which is traditional Japanese locations. Now, if you're gonna do a Japanese season, make it as similar as you can to Chapter 4 Season 2 Mega. Mega, oh my days, I've already said this before, but Mega was such a good season. They had Mega City, like that's the only location I remember because I forget the rest of them. But it was just so good. They did it so perfectly. And now that they're gonna bring it back with a more traditional feel and not futuristic, it was gonna be so good. So some places I would like for them to add would be places like monasteries, shogun palaces, cherry blossom tree forests, and maybe, some temples here and there. Because these are all things that can tie back into Japanese traditional mythology, where they had monasteries for training, palaces for the shoguns, and they have lots of cherry blossom trees over in Japan. Like if you check out those pictures that you see online, dear God, they are beautiful. And I feel like adding this into the season could really, really boost the feel and the theme of what they're trying to go for. And speaking of theme, I would like to talk about the artist for the next festival, Fortnite Festival update, which I know a lot of people don't know this artist, but she is a Japanese artist. Her name is Ado, and she makes really, really good songs. Now, if you do know her, you'll know songs like Usewa, Rule, Anti Systems, and Backlight. Now, I feel if they added these four songs and this artist into the game, it would boost, first of all, the popularity of the artist and boost their game, because not only is the artist Japanese, and she ties in perfectly to the season, and she's also incredibly popular too. So a lot of her fan base could also come to Fortnite. Epic sees the money in this, and so that's why I also feel like this would be a great, great addition to the game, not only for the players, but for the company as well, which is something that Epic has always tried to do, which they've been losing a bit. They've been focusing more on the money aspect than the player and money aspect. But I feel like if they did this, they could really balance it out. Now, for more stuff I would actually like to see in game is bosses. And in Chapter 5 Season 1, we got bosses, and it made the game actually like feel fun in the first beginning. Because back in Chapter 2 Season 1 or Chapter 1 Season 0, we didn't get anything like this, and we didn't get that much content either. And so, if we put more bosses in Chapter 6 Season 1, similar to Chapter 5 Season 1, I feel like this would also boost the player count. Some bosses, based off of Japanese things, could be yokai. Like they're kind of yokai are like ghosts in Japanese mythology, oni, which are demons in Japanese mythology, samurai bosses, or shogun as bosses. And those guys, they would be incredibly cool. And I feel like they could drop like certain artifacts or items or even weapons, maybe like special katanas or tanto or yumi. You never know. Now, the next thing I would like for them to add is kind of a joke, but it'd still be kind of cool, is the bounty ship from Ninjago. Now, if you've never seen Ninjago, it's basically a giant flying ship, you know, based off of the Chinese scrap ship or whatever. But it still has incorporated elements of Japanese culture into it too. And so I feel like that would also be pretty cool. And, Lego Ninjago as a collaboration in the season would be pretty fitting, as well as maybe more boat vehicles like canoes. And this one's a stretch, but I would love for them to add this: rideable dragons. Now, a while back, I remember them having leaks for rideable flying creatures, and I feel like this could be it. Having rideable dragons for this season would be pretty cool. It's Japanese focus. Dragons are a really big part of Japanese culture, so I feel like this could be, really good for the game, similar to how they added the Clombos in Chapter 3 Season 1. Now, for the ninth thing that I would love for them to have is a Japanese focused battle pass. Like, because I know in the past, Epic has had some weird battle passes to their season themes. Best example is Chapter 3 Season 4, having the most random skins come into a Chrome theme season. I feel like they could have had some better choices than Meowscles and Lennox Rose, but hey, they were there. And so I feel like some more Japanese theme skins could go into this battle pass, like samurais, ninjas, onis, and yokai, would be pretty cool. You know, because there's some skins in the surveys that look pretty good and they look pretty fitting for the season. So I'm just saying, if they added some of those, I feel like it'd be a stronger battle pass and one of the strongest ones we've had of 2024. And now for my 10th and final thing that I want for them to add is new mechanics. Because it's been a little bit since, we got the climbing and we got the hurdling back. And so I would love for them to add, some more. Like, I've heard that the prone mechanic is coming in where you can lay on your stomach and aim with a sniper, and swinging. Because, swinging on vines and ropes and other stuff seems pretty cool. I would also like for them to maybe add some more stuff, but hey, those are kind of like the two main things I'm focused on right now. And even if they don't come, I'm happy with the mechanics we have now, but it would be nice for some more movement and better ways to move around. Anyways, do you agree with me on this list? Yes or no? Comment if you think so, and you don't have to if you wanna, but please subscribe because I am almost at 1,200 subs, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could just smash that subscribe button and like the video, or don't if you don't wanna. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.